Okay, so I raced this weekend in a team GP race, and we were there. We were the only electric bikes. Now, Grant, listen, dude, we're down in Southern Ohio, right? Um, it's extremely conservative, and I think the reason the political aspect matters is because it fucking matters. Like people think like batteries are taking over the world, and like that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing it because it's like it's a really interesting way. It doesn't matter why I'm doing it.
It's just
The
fun.
point
It's just
is,
fun to ride.
yeah, it's a lot of fun and it's a lot easier. I have to work a lot less hard and I can focus on the things that matter, like just trying to be a better rider versus like trying to worry about my shifting and worry about my braking and worry about my clutch. And, anyways, but we're there and like we're the only electric bikes, dude. And everybody, they don't hate us, right? But it's very easy to.
You can get picked on.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like you against literally everyone, right? So my buddy Jay, he hops on he's on the Throne Serpent, mind you. Okay. He's racing a Throne Serpent with an 1819 setup, like 40 amp hours. It's just,
It
we
looked
didn't
muddy
know how.
too. It looked like
Oh,
pretty
dude,
soft.
it was muddy. The ruts were so deep. It was such a gnarly track. I, I wasn't ready for it. I'm going to be honest. Like, I get why Code now says about like, training in these ruts because we have a turn track in the backyard. He's always complaining that the ruts aren't deep enough. And to me, they're like freaking fantastic. But now I get it. He wants deep ruts that he can actually train in.
Yeah,
dude, I'm peg dragging on the Ultra B. Like my pegs are getting caught in the mud. It was epic. But the point being is everybody was just like, holy friggin', just like talking shit, but not like to our face, but like you could tell. But every time we took off, dude, it was like bang, 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 bang. And I got demoralized. Okay. But I also demoralized people. Like I pulled up on them and just blew the horn at them and just passed them. Now, granted, I got passed a lot more than I passed people, but it's funny because like, after the race, like people were like, hey, like they see like, oh, like we finished 11th out of 20. And then we got that because of me. Jay is
mid-pack is good.
Yeah, mid-pack. First race, yeah, mid-pack. And we had to race C. We weren't able to race with the first-year racer because I'm a first-year racer. Like I haven't raced ever in my life. I've just always ridden bikes. But we weren't able to race that class because Jay's way too good to be in that class. So we did pretty well, but people were like warmed up to the idea afterwards. And they're like, oh man, that's actually pretty crazy. That bike did really good. Now we had the Throne Serpent made it literally 2 laps. It was at 28% battery. The battery overheated. We couldn't even charge it. So what did we do? We fell onto the old trusty Surron Ultra B. And we both just took turns. I had 2 batteries and we just bounced back and forth between. We were able to make that bike last the entire however many more laps there were. I think we each did.
Wait, was it a nonstop race?
Yeah, so it's like
so you had to do battery swaps and like your time was just like.
So every single lap you had to roll the pits and then restart. And then the second lap you came in and rolled the pits, you had to swap. Like so you had to like give each other a wristband and then like put the wristband on and go. So then we had to put the wristbands on and then we had to battery swap. So it was fun. It was just like there's more complexity to it. It's like you're trying to do a fast pit. Like what I was thinking when I was trying to get the battery lid open was how calm Seth Haley was when you were doing his battery swap at TKO. That was not me. I was like fucking fidgeting and messing stuff up and we couldn't get it. And
he was
Jay's
chill.
Yeah, he was just like, all right, man, yeah, and that's just.
And he pulls up. I was like, dismount to the right and hold the bike. That's like the only direction I gave. I was like, just get off the bike, stand on the right side, hold it, and I have it. You know what I mean,
dude? It's so epic. But the point being, like, we got to race, and it was all gas bikes. We were the only electric ones. Everybody was actually really cool afterwards. But there's that initial like uncertainty of like people. It's different. It's change. And I understand people don't like that. And so it was just funny how like everybody wants to make like kind of gang up on you in the beginning. And then when you like start, you whoop some people's asses, excuse my language, but like you do. And then they're like, oh, okay. Well, that's actually pretty crazy that bike was able to do that. And you guys actually don't suck on dirt bikes.
I mean, you're at a huge disadvantage compared to a lot of these gas bikes too. I mean, it's a good amount of power, but compared to like a 250 or 450, it's not there. You know what I mean? So the fact that you can be like mid-pack and like, yeah, if you wouldn't have been in that weird battery situation, you probably would have placed top 10 at least. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty good for a bike that's like what, 20 horsepower?
And you're racing 450s, you're racing 250s, and like we're racing really fast kids and men, like grown men and adults, like, you know, and then after like the start, so like they do the staggered start, and then everybody's just mixing together and it's just a cluster, right? So then you got like pro A and B guys that are passing you, like, you know,
Ooh,
like you don't know who's who. Yeah, so in the race there are 4 staggered starts. There were like the AB guys, and then another round, and then there was the C guys, and then like it just went backwards with like, you know, starting the front was the best, and then the back was like vintage, like ended in vintage, you know, vintage.
There wasn't a single
plus.
Stark?
Not a single Stark Vark, which was mind blowing, dude. We were the only 2 electric dirt bikes that were there. Now, there were customers of mine that were there. They were all on their e-rides and like tooling around the pits and having fun, stuff like that. And a bunch of people came up and talked to us, which was really, really awesome. Which kind of like really softens the blow for a lot of people, because they like, oh, like they know people here. We're not just like showing up douchey, you know, like in a cool van with like cool bikes. Like it was cool that like we knew people there, and like I know a bunch of the kids that race with my son were there racing the team GP. So it was nice to like have a bunch of people that we were like we had like relationships there. It wasn't just like pulling up. But anyways, so you kind of get that, but here's the thing. The death of Surron and Talaria is it's imminent. So I want to tell
what's going on. Yeah, like explain what's going on with it.
I want to tell the story about Surron, and I'm going to start there, and then I'm going to give my opinion about Talaria, because I don't know the facts. And if it's not a fact, I'll tell you it's not a fact. And if it is a fact, I'll just state it as such. The Surron world is comprised of different singular points of entry into each country. So I don't know how many countries import Surrons, and I don't know how many people are involved in each one. What I do know is the Canadian market. I know the United States market. And then there's obviously the overlord of Alibaba. So for the longest time, forever, there were 2 people that imported every single Surron, no matter what it was, from the very beginning into the United States. And those people were responsible for growing the Surron brand. And they did a ton of really heavy lifting and legwork to get Surron certified in each state, so you could actually register this bike. So it comes with a title from the dealer. And they were very particular about who they allowed to become their dealers. They only wanted to work after a certain point. They only wanted to work with major motorsports distributors or resellers or power sports stores that had like a 10,000 square foot footprint. Like they did not want to mess with the little guys. And I've talked to a lot of the people in the industry about this, people that most of the people listening to this will absolutely know 100%, but they kind of pushed out all the small guys. What they wanted to do was prevent the backyard seller, the garage seller, the person who just sells on Facebook Marketplace. They bring in a couple of bikes. They didn't want to do that. And I totally respect that, because that kind of screws up the market, because then those people, maybe they don't have the capital to sit on $10,000 or $20,000 worth of bikes. They get kind of desperate to get their money back. They start lowering the prices. It obliterates the market. Makes perfect sense.